Hi, my name is Jenny.
And my name's Eury.
It is 2022, the year of feeling at home. And it's the year of the bunny rabbit for us here on the Conscious Cuppa podcast.
Welcome back. It's season 3, episode 5. And we have a question for you. What has going to the swimming pool, being invited to a festival, and getting your own home got to do with bunny rabbits?
Those furry friends with the big ears, they're here to help us understand how the universe helps us from A to Z, supports us from having the thought to having the thing, from desire to fulfillment, from wanting it to being it.
Over the course of 13 episodes, we'll be discovering the mind-blowing roadmap that works 24/7. Whether you need to find your keys, have a better work relationship, or improve your finances, we've got a tip for you.
Whether you want to pass an exam, whether you want to find something very deep and dear to you, like your inner child, the Bunny Rabbit Solution has a tip for you.
We really love hearing from you and receiving your beautiful mugshots. Please send us any questions and answers you've got on Twitter at ConsciousCuppa or email us consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's ConsciousCuppa.
And we've now got visuals. You can see those on YouTube and Spotify. Click on the links in the description to take you there.
Hey Brew Crew, and stay tuned to the very last moment. We've got some Ghanaian wisdom for you. There's a Akan Easter egg.
But for now, we invite you to grab a brew, take a pew,
And let's make the impossible come true.
Okay, what's in our cups today?
So we've got bitter melon, I believe.
Yeah, you'd think it might be bitter lemon, but it's bitter melon. Melon and lemon are anagrams of each other, aren't they? Now, before you taste it, Eury, know that I found this, I got this from a neighbour. When I say I got it from a neighbour, I mean that they put it out amongst lots of things in a box. And of course, when I looked into that box, which I always do as I'm walking down the street, there was these tea bags. I'm taking a chance, you are taking a risk with this. If we don't do episode 6, then you'll know why.
I trust your neighbours,
Okay.
and I think it's a gift. So
Okay, yeah, let's see how it tastes.
yes, it's got a little bit
Oh
bitter
wow,
twang.
that is definitely bitter.
It's got a bitter twang, definitely,
Bitter is one of the tastes that you're supposed to have in your diet.
which is not a very British taste at
And
all.
I
don't
tell you
think.
what, I avoid it like the plague. So
Well, maybe it's that missing ingredient then for our lives.
woo! You know, I got some wormwood recently,
Yeah.
which is super duper 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 bitter. You could like only take a few grains of that.
Yeah, so that's from Bushwhackers on King Street in Hammersmith.
And this is from number 40. We hope you've got something wonderful in your cup, in your glass, in your flask.
Cheers.
So here's what we do. This season we're going to be looking at the roadmap of life. We're going to be looking at this roadmap that works 24/7, 365 days a year, all day, like the big superstores, except it's open all Sunday too. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're up, whether you're down, whether you're in, whether you're out, whether you know it or not, this roadmap of life is working for you.
It's a pattern, an unfolding spiral that's been called the Fibonacci sequence. It's the beauty of the ocean wave, it's the majesty of the cosmos, and it's the design of the winding shell. And it's reflected in us all, every human being, shaping and defining our physical bodies. The universal spiral is a path that nature builds herself with you to lift you out of want and pain and into ease and delight.
The Fibonacci sequence that we'll be looking at has 7 obvious steps, from 0 to 13, and 7 hidden ones. Each episode we look at one of these steps and how it's an unfolding story, how each step is a chapter in the story that helps you to understand where you are, what you need to do next to proceed to succeed.
So the story begins whenever an idea comes to you. Might be a need, a wish, a dream. It's a gift. that comes into your heart and mind. This dream helps you discover the creative power within you. On this podcast, we'll be looking at the challenging ideas, needs and dreams that may seem impossible to achieve and how to accomplish these goals on the journey into the forbidden and unconscious realms of possibility.
And this is where the invisible work begins, once we get inside that forbidden forest, where you can create your new reality as a gift to yourself. And then wait. Really wait until
Pop!
out of the blue, out of nowhere, your dreams come true. It's standing in front of you. The thought has become a thing. A person has arrived out of nowhere. You've got the thing you wanted. You are the person you wanted to be.
Before we continue, we ask you to take a look around you. Take a good look. Is there any object that wasn't once only imagined? Big, small, tall, short, all ideas follow a path. So pick one and let's go in the lift of life.
It's time for Magic Minute. It's the time it takes us to go up 13 floors in the lift of life with your idea and see what our Rogette's thesaurus says about this week's subject. Step number 3, which is the number 2, and which is the word in the Hebraic language, bait, B-A-Y-T, which means house. So we've looked up house in Rogette's thesaurus. Eury's going to write down on our spiky thingy-majig.
It's a mind map.
It's a mind map. We're going to write down on the spiky mind map all the, well, as many as we can fit into a minute going down in the lift. And then we're going to brainstorm coming back up what we understand about, in spiritual terms, what the house represents.
Yeah.
Okay, you can shout at your device all the things that we're missing when we do the brainstorm, but let's get a minute on the clock.
And do share them with us, because we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. And the lift doors are closing now. So, house is to do with family, to do with a tree, tribe.
I like tree. I like tribe.
Yeah, we might need to keep some of these together. Okay, so let's bunch together. Locate.
Yep.
Station. Route. And establish. Let's have abode. That's the obvious one. Castle. Box. And mansion. Also temple. Let's box together theatre, gallery, and circus. Ooh. Excellent.
Have you managed to get them all in,
Not
Jenny?
at all. That was just halfway through. Roget is very thorough. He is. Okay. Let's get a minute back on the clock and we'll go up in the lift and we'll talk about these things from a more of a spiritual point of view. But you know what? Everything he said so far has been pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, minute on the clock.
And the lift doors are closing now. So to house is for us to accommodate.
Okay.
We're accommodating this idea. We're going to find somewhere good for it to live. We're also going to...
I think I'd add keep to the accommodate.
Okay, well maybe put it on another spike to keep. We also got to... it becomes like a vehicle.
Oh. Yep.
An agent. It's an agent of this desire. I think we've also got, in terms of the spiritual, to give something shelter. going back to kind of Mary finding herself at the inn. Can you shelter this wonderful idea? Oh, there we go. God, with this.
So we've got a couple more.
We've got a couple more spikes. So, have you got any more ideas of the going up, and then we can give one of the going down?
So the house, it's just added to the keep to contain.
Contain is a good one. I had that dream, remember, with the containers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have we got one from Roger?
Roget. We have make safe, which I think keeps with your keep. He's also got, which we can put. Where can we put it?
Well, I can add a line.
Add one more spike and put yield.
Okay.
These are all very important for us.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock because we're going to elaborate with this step. We're going to kind of go back so to give us some context and where we are with number 2, which I said last episode. It's a very important step. It's a very, it's quite a hard step because this is where the challenges really come in.
Okay.
And I'm actually liking this tea, even though it is bitter.
It's a subtle bitterness, though. It's not like a kapow bitterness.
It's not the wormwood bitterness. That was just like really uncomfortable. Whereas this, yeah, it's got a subtleness. Dalgety, which is the company that makes this tea, I do like a lot of their teas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You usually get them in the African greengrocers.
So I know my Bangladeshi client, going out to Tamana, cooks with bitter melon.
Oh, does she?
And it's really nice in the food, actually. It gives the food a real je ne sais quoi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, she's getting one of her 5 a day.
And so am I when she cooks it for me.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes on the clock.
We have.
And let's dive in.
So Jenny, can you just recap what we've done in 0, 1 and 1 so we can put this in context?
Great. So first of all, we had 0, 1. That's the beginning. That's the coming. That's the off and on. So the idea is arriving.
Yeah.
As an idea, as a dream, as a wish, as a want, as a desire.
So that's the alpha.
That's the aleph, yes.
Aleph.
And then we've got the ox that needs to help us to plant this idea.
Yes.
We have number 1 where we entertain the idea. In other words, we really like this idea or not.
So it's a bit like the seed that you're keeping. You're saying, yeah, I'm definitely planting
I'm going to plant this seed.
Yeah,
I want the fruit of this seed.
Yeah.
I like this idea. It's going to help me. So number 1 is where you're saying yes to the idea and you're going to sustain it. You're going to feed it, and you feed it with your attention. And attention is energy, and energy is life, which means it's going to grow. Yeah?
Yeah.
So now we're on to number 2. This is the house. This is bait, the house. Alphabet. So this is real beginnings. This is where we are going to contain it. We're going to define it. We're going to say it's this. But can I accommodate it? Because I've got all these other ideas in my house already. I've got all these other beliefs in my house already. And this might be the house of your religion. It might be the house of your education. It might be the house of your whatever traditions it is. But these are the things, this word establish, things that have already been established in your life.
Yeah.
And this idea is coming along and it might be a bit disruptive. It's a bit like you're looking for a housemate, yeah? And then you're interviewing all these ideas, and is this one going to cause trouble?
Yeah.
And if it's going to make everybody a little bit uncomfortable, you might have to change the house altogether.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that is quite scary.
Yeah, change can be very challenging.
So is the idea going to work? Because you might have a belief that this idea is not supposed to work. This idea should be impossible. And what we're trying to do on this podcast is show how easy this can be.
Yeah.
Whereas this idea might seem really difficult to achieve. We do go further. When we leave this particular section, we're going to be going into number 3, of course. And 3 is going on the journey beyond the walls.
Yeah. Because
it's too difficult right now to accommodate it, the idea as it is. We need to actually grow it more.
Yeah.
But your house, if it's a house, has walls, it has a door, it has windows, it has a roof. And these walls can be quite thick. These walls can say, we don't do this, we don't do that. You're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that.
So what I'm hearing is, if you put that in a work context, it's kind of all the policies and procedures that say, this is how we run things, this is how they're done. And then you come in with this innovation, this idea.
Yes. Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? You're too old for that.
You're too young.
You're too this for that. You're
Yeah.
too that for that.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
So this could be a very challenging idea that you had. If it's an easy idea, it probably, if it's something that you normally do, like have breakfast at 8, have dinner at 6, have lunch at 12, then it's an easy, you're already accommodating that idea.
Can I just give an example of something that's really easy?
Yeah.
So, for instance, I lost my keys. This is not, I don't do it often anymore, but this isn't an unusual thing that's happened in my life.
Well, also, we done the key exercise, didn't we, in the touch bit at the end of one of the, and then you went and lost your
I
keys.
felt like I'd lost them just to prove that to myself and get myself to practice. And then, of course, I had to do the exercise again so I could find my keys, and out they popped. But that wasn't difficult. That wasn't finding keys, isn't necessarily pushing the boundaries of my house.
Your house is your comfort zone. It's the place where you normally return to. So even though you might go on holiday and do some skiing and do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, you come back to your regular life, your regular habits.
Yeah.
Now this may be something that you really have, your idea might be something that's so heartfelt, you really want to do it, but it's out of your normal comfort zone. So trying to accommodate it might be very difficult because your mind is saying, ooh, I don't have the structure for that. You're going to have to build an extra wing.
Yes.
Stop the podcast. It's time for a Neville Nugget. Neville Goddard, straight out of Barbados, back in 1906, over 100 years ago. That's crazy to think that.
Yeah.
But he's here to give us a little bit of a breather each episode. Eury, pick a number.
So I'll have 14 today, please.
14. Stop believing in God and start believing as God. There is nothing God cannot do.
So I think this is directly related to this gift of an idea, because you've got to feel from it. You've got to feel as it rather than of it. Thanks, Neville.
Reminding us we are all God. We are in the house of God.
Which is us. We are the house.
We are that house. We are all that house.
Yeah.
On with the podcast.
On with the podcast.
In Bible terms, your house is a mansion, but you might be living in quite a small cottage. You can build as many houses as you want. These are really states of mind.
Yeah.
So there are permanent states of mind that can't be changed. There are permanent houses. There are permanent mansions that are established in this life of a human being. And those are the fixed houses that you're going to live in that help you to arrive from Adam, the ignorant person that we all begin as, to this awakened imagination which is called Jesus. Yeah. You're going to move houses along the way, along all your lifetimes. But in the meantime, you can build as many houses as you like. You can build a house that accommodates you being rich. You can build a house that accommodates you being poor. You can build houses that accommodate you being famous, being unknown, being ill, being healthy, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. There's infinite states. You can build a house for anything. And when you leave that house, somebody else can go into that house. You can build houses for other people. You can build houses to say these people are horrible and these people are good. You can move into other people. So as much as you can move, yes, which that can be nice and that can be terrible.
So recently I moved into a house, in a sense. I moved job. but I'd already created the job, the house. I'd imagined it already. So
you built that house,
yeah.
But you could fall into, and we do as children.
And I had fallen into.
We are born into somebody else's house.
Yeah.
But it's a house that is there to help us grow and develop.
Yes.
Presenting its own challenges by having very thick walls.
Yeah.
That say, you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah.
But there will be something in you that says, I really want to do that. Now,
Yeah.
how do I get beyond these walls?
Yeah.
Perhaps when the door is locked. Perhaps when the windows are shut. And of course, this is, of course, what we're going to be talking about when we get to number 3, when we get to number 5 and beyond those walls. How do I get beyond the house that is saying I can't do this? And the walls are so thick and so permanent and have been established for maybe thousands of years through your family history, that who are you to think you're coming along with this strange idea, this foreign idea of yours? How dare you? But your spirit, which is completely free and cannot be contained in these made-up houses, is going to want to get beyond those walls.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to get beyond the walls of my previous experience and my previous employment. Yeah.
For sure.
Jenny, have you got an example of this going beyond your walls?
Yeah. Let's look at what it is to move home, because that's the literal interpretation. But it could be anything. It could be moving into a new job. It could be moving into a new relationship. Moving into a new financial state. Yes, and these are states of mind, and you're trying to move from one to the other without even opening the door.
Yeah.
And the tip here is to see yourself in the new place already, in the new home, in the new job.
Live from it.
You're thinking from the new place rather than thinking of the new place. So that is you moving beyond the walls of where you seem to be. And you seem to be where you don't want to be. This idea wants to become a fruit. This seed needs to grow. And it's outgrowing where you already are. So there has to be a new home that you have to build. But before you try to start to build it, you have to be in that new home already built. And that is going into number 5. We've got to get to number 3 first. But right now, you're starting to wonder what it would be like to go beyond these walls that are telling you you can't, you mustn't, you shouldn't. We don't do that. I've never done that. So you're starting to forget the walls, almost like they melt before you. And or it's like that augmented reality. You know what augmented reality is?
No.
So say you play Pokemon Go, for example.
Yeah.
And on your
device.
On your device, you're seeing all these things that aren't actually there, but you're seeing them there.
Yeah, from your device's perspective.
And a lot of this new technology wants to make an augmented reality where you put on these glasses and you can see things in front of you that aren't really there, but it's telling you information about where you are.
Yeah.
So that is the same essential thing that you're doing when you start to imagine. You're placing things in your reality that aren't there, but you're making them seem as if they are there.
Yeah.
But you're going to give it some more va-va-voom. And of course, we're going to be talking about that more when we get into 3, and when we get into 5. 5 is the main area where we do the actual imagining.
If I'm moving house, what I'm hearing you say, Jenny, is I'd be sleeping in that new house in my imagination. I would be feeling the new vibe of that house. I'd be feeling the new bed maybe that I bought.
But this again that's number 5, so we don't want to preempt it too right now, because number 2 is where we are, and number 2 is really allowing yourself to believe there's something more outside the walls of your house.
Yeah.
And denying this idea that you can't.
Yeah. You shouldn't.
You mustn't. We don't do that. So, but this idea, you have it.
So you're really taking on this idea and really falling in love with it, aren't you?
Yes, the house is a really safe place to keep all of your ideas. But what happens when you have an idea that doesn't quite fit in? And the tendency when we're younger, perhaps, is to say, oh, well, you know, I better not do that, or I'm going to get in trouble. Or I can't do that because I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I can't go there because I don't have the right equipment. I can't work there because I don't have the right diploma, qualifications. Yeah. That's what number 2 does. It says, oh, you shouldn't leave the house. Stay here. This is comfortable here. What the steps beyond number 2 are going to do is say, actually, there's lots of possibilities here. You can actually go further. Let's go further.
Yeah.
So that's what number 3 is going to be about, is leaving the house and going on a journey. We've already journeyed into number 2, but we're going to go beyond the walls. We're outgrowing this house that we've grown up in.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to mature ourselves beyond that.
Lovely. Thanks, Jenny.
Before we leave, we're going to get back in that lift. We're going to do a touch exercise. And we've had a request from Raphael to do a touching money.
Yes.
So let's get a minute on the clock.
We have a minute, Jenny.
And the lift doors are closing now. So let's close our eyes. And let's use our imaginary hands, not our real hands, but our imaginary hands, to hold a wad of cash. Feel the thickness. Feel the smoothness. Maybe it's 20s, maybe it's 10s, maybe it's 5s, maybe it's 50s. Maybe it has elastic band around it. Unfold it and count it with both hands. And if you don't use cash, look at your bank details. Look at how full your account is. Because a lot of people don't use cash at the moment.
Yeah. But
you can use your app, maybe on your phone. You can hold that in your imaginary hand, your phone, and you can scroll to see your new bank account.
Yeah, and it's really about that feeling, isn't it?
So yes, the feeling that goes with that is a deep sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, and probably a sense of relief if you're trying to pay some bills and...
Well, this is true, especially if you're paying bills. But maybe Raphael wants this to be like a normal, every day, every month, every year, I have enough money. So one of the emotions there is to make it feel natural. Like this is just normal.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that it was normal not to have much money. Now you make it normal to have lots of money.
Yeah.
Or enough money. However you want to decide how you term that. But maybe the first time, yes, it's a relief. And it's a wonderful relief. And it's a wonderful satisfaction. But then it becomes a normal thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe you start wanting even more.
Yeah.
Or you want to find different ways to spend that, invest that.
Yes.
And that's it for this week.
Thank you for tuning in, listening and joining us.
Thank you for joining in with the poll if you've done that on Spotify. And we have our YouTube channel, so you can log in there and leave a comment. You can contact us
consciouscuppa@gmail.com, or you can tweet us on Twitter
at consciouscuppa. That's CONSCIOUSCUPPA. Thanks to Roger for his picture of the house.
Wow.
You can find him on his Tumblr page. We'll put links in the description, as we will for the Neville Nugget. And there is a lecture that is all about finding your new home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put a link for that as well. But for now, goodbye.
Take care. Hey Brew Crew, welcome to the very end of the podcast where we've got our Akan Easter egg and some Ghanaian wisdom.
Thanks for hanging around. Thanks for waiting all the way through.
Okay, let's see.
What does your lollipop stick say?
Let not what you cannot do tear you from what you can do.
Oh, that's definitely one for you, isn't it? You're always reminding me, stick to what you can, or rather stick to what you want, rather than what you don't want.
Yeah.
Bit of Akan wisdom for you there. See you next week.
See you next week.